page it is.
That's what I was thinking.
Roll call vote?
Fisher.
Here.
Tucker.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Keaton. Smith. Glass. Sherman.
Here. And go straight to item 3. We have a quorum?
Yeah.
Okay. Item 3, discussion and action on the ARC roof project bid opening.
All right, so we opened bids on Thursday, and we received 4 bids. I think they are from almost all the same vendors. We had one different vendor than what we had last time, and one vendor that didn't rebid. But we had 4 bids. Tier 1 contracting, American Iron Construction from Freeman, and Heritage Hills Commercial Services, and L. Wallace Construction. So our bids, some of them changed, some of them didn't change. We still are going to have the same low bidder that we had last time, the Heritage Hills Commercial Services. They bid, well, I guess it depends on, let me start over. So for the base bid, Tier 1 contracting was the lowest. So this would be with like materials, the exposed fastener roof system, $218,595. American Iron Construction, they bid it at $568,838.07. Heritage Hills bid it at $289,000, and L. Wallace Construction bid it at $282,690. So if we would go with the base bid, which is the exposed fastener roof system, Tier 1 would have the lowest bid there. The alternate bid that we bid out was basically everything else with the super lock roof instead of the exposed fastener. And Tier 1, they bid that out at $451,733. American Iron Construction, they bid it out at $752,229. And Heritage Hills bid it out at $414,750. And L. Wallace Construction bid it out at $535,066. So if we went with the alternate bid, which would be the super lock roof and replacing the west wall and all the windows and the panel, and then pulling the louvers and vents and enclosing all that, and replacing the panels up on the second story, everything but the east side. The lowest bid there would be Heritage Hills Construction, which that's who I think had the lowest bid on the last time around on everything. When I talked to our engineer and asked, I know we had questions because we've never worked with Heritage Hills, and wanted to get some feedback. They requested the most previous 5 jobs that the company had done, and in here I gave you guys basically their those references essentially, and they've done a lot of work for schools, and didn't have anybody that came back and said, let's see, there wasn't, looks like that the Department of Wildlife, there was an issue where they have a piece of flashing that needs to be fixed, but they would still use them. They haven't come back yet, but they're supposed to come back and fix that, but they would still use them. Well, I guess I said 5. They had reached out to 6 and received calls back on 3 of them. So they didn't really have anybody that said they wouldn't rehire them that we heard back from. Based on state statute, we are required to choose the lowest and best bid, and as that stands, that would be Heritage Hills. What questions do you guys have, or what can I answer?
I asked you a minute ago, but I'll just state it so that it's record. But the $218,595 from the lowest bid on Tier 1 is what insurance will pay.
Yes.
To
basically,
whatever we do.
When we talked to the insurance last time, there was going to be no additional monies, and they stated they would cover whatever the lowest bid was for like materials, so the exposed fastener roof system. And so the lowest one there was Tier 1 Contracting at $218,595. So as it sits, that's more money than we budgeted for insurance revenue. We budgeted $204,000 in insurance revenue, and the bid was about $2,000, well, not even, maybe $1,300 less than what we had budgeted as well. So all in all, it keeps us on target as far as our budget is concerned.
So ARC total money out, if we did alternate bid 1, would be $196,155. That's what my math comes up to. And that would be to replace all of that and put the better roof on.
Yes. And it's on the city council agenda for tonight. If for whatever reason you guys don't make a recommendation, then I would take that to them. But the sooner we get this project started, I feel like the better off we're going to be. I know Courtney would like to get the floor and the gym redone, but she doesn't really want to start that project till we've got new roof in place as well. So I'd be open to whatever discussion you guys have.
Could we get more clarification on the difference between the exposed fastener and the super lock system?
Super lock is a standing seam. It's a narrower panel generally, and it's a standing seam. So the fasteners is below the next seam. So you fasten it, keep, how do I describe it? You got your panel like this, and there's a seam that comes up, and then it comes down, and there's a fastener on this side. That one covers it up. Then you put your next fastener, and it snaps together.
Similar like a flooring type.
Yeah,
So
but it's on top.
but
It's
on
a
top.
U shape. Basically, it comes over and snaps together, and then you fasten it again on this side.
Basically, your seals for every screw aren't exposed, so there's no possible leakage through the screws, and then it's harder for it to leak through each seam. Is that where?
But this has got a corrugated almost panel where the fasteners are exposed on top of the panel instead of underneath.
That's a pretty significant difference.
Yeah.
So it's a $200,000 difference from the last one.
Well, you're talking, here's my thought on it is I don't think your roof's the problem. I think your walls are. So you put a new roof on, you're still going to have leaks, in my opinion. Because you're still going to have these vents up here. But,
Yeah, we're gonna remove those.
well, on the second option, right? Not on the base, on the alternate.
So if we go with the regular roof, we're not doing that other?
Well, we have it set up so that's the base bid because we knew that that's what insurance wanted to see. They wanted to see that separate. But we have everything else set up as alternate bid. Let me get in here and see.
We could replace the super lock with the
Exposed
base,
fastener.
the exposed fastener roof, and then still
And
keep
then still
the
keep those
extras.
others.
Every other item.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd be $50,000 difference instead of 196, somewhere in there. I think all the extras on that are, 51,750 is what I have up there.
I mean, it's a big roof, so yeah, it's gonna take a lot, it's a lot more expensive to put the standing seam on, labor intensive and also product. Last item.
Well, I personally would have to defer to somebody that's in that industry. What would you do?
It's a lot of money. If it were mine and I had the money, personally, I'd do the standing seam. But that's $150,000 difference. That's almost the cost of the original roof. So is it gonna last that much longer? I can't tell you that.
From an insurance standpoint, what would that look like? Maintaining its current level of being insured on the roof when we put this new roof on?
New roof's a new roof. I mean, it's kind of like what he said too, and it's kind of what we've run into with the water issues already, is that they've said that, they're not going to do anything additional for like those walls and stuff like that, because it's obviously obviously an engineering problem and not a roof problem. I mean, the roof does need replaced, but, you know, I think either way we go, no matter which roof we put on, the extras is what's gonna cause the leaking to stop. Is that what you're?
That's my thought, is your opinion. I mean, I think there's probably some roof leaks, but I think the majority of the leaks are the walls up here and that front windows and walls. So,
This may be an impossible question, and I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but what would be the lifespan difference between these two? That's not a fair question, but any ballpark guesses?
is there,
Do they come with any
Yeah,
guarantees or any warranties?
I didn't know if there was a warning. I think, I want to say an average is 25 year, but they're going to, it's just like insurance, they're going to find a reason not to pay.
Yeah.
They're going to blame it on the installer, no matter which one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're the same gauge as far as 29 or 26.
They have to be done.
You said pitch? Is that what you said? What did you say, they're the same?
The gauge of the metal.
The gauge of
Gauge.
the metal. But with the exposed fastener, you have more cases for leaks, more, they leaks to rust. So you do minimize that with the standing seam. Or super lock, whatever they call it.
I think what you come down to at the end of the day is just, you can't speculate on the life of the roof, but the life of the grommet that's on each of those fasteners, you know, I mean, being baked by the sun up there for so long and weathered, you're gonna get longer lifespan out of the fastener side of it by covering them up than you would by having exposed, but
You're not even gonna have a grommet on the
Yeah.
ones that aren't exposed, because it's gonna be covered.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of what kind of screws. I mean, there's washers that are sealed washers and flexible washers that have some give to them. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah. We feel like the walls are more the issue, and those are part of our ultimate bid. I don't know that it makes, my opinion, and it's not a highly educated opinion, but it doesn't sound like going with the almost $200,000 extra for the nicer roof. We don't feel like that's completely the issue. We feel like the issue can get resolved with the
But that's with this roof. I don't think this roof, though, we put a new one on with exposed fasteners. I mean, we don't know. Literally, they feel for the purlins when they put the screw in.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I mean, they miss a purlin, then you have a potential for a leak, where in the standing seam, they can see it. Does that make sense? And if they miss it, it's underneath, and it doesn't matter, they can move it up or down, hit the purlin. That hole doesn't even matter because it's underneath the roof. So.
Well, as far as the bids, it will make a difference on what you go with as far as which company gets the bid.
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, if we decide to go back with exposed fastener roof, then tier 1 would have the lowest.
Tier 1 would still be more expensive using the
And then
2A,
then you
3A, and 4. We're still gonna do 2A, 3A, and 4A.
Right, not the way I added it up.
See, if you take the,
They're still gonna be.
Yeah.
You take your base bid and then your 2 and 3 and 4.
Okay, yeah.
it's more, the alternate bids are more, but the total project itself is.
Right, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that math on in my head.
But are you still thinking about going with the, so you're gonna go with one company?
Ultimately, I mean, to me, that's,
I think that's the best idea, but there's a,
yes. I mean, we would basically just be taking out 1A and swapping it out with the base bid 1. And so then tier one contracting would be the lowest bid for, the total project.
We're not required to go with the lowest bid on each alternate, is that correct?
The
No.
alternate's our decision, I believe.
Well, and ultimately, I mean,
You add them all up,
You add 'em all up,
ultimately, it's the cheaper.
I mean, and just correct me if I'm wrong, the discussions that we've had in the past is we wanted one company to do everything from top to bottom because if not, we have concerns that, well, it's the roofing company's fault, it's the company that did the panel, the West panel's fault, and we want it all to be the same. So that being said, if you do the exposed fastener as opposed to the standing seam or the super lock, tier one would be the lowest bid. If we decide to do super lock, then Heritage Shields would be the lowest bid. The lowest, maybe not best, lowest bid, how would I say it that way? We don't have any reason to determine that they wouldn't be the best bid.
I trust your math, I just wanted to have it for notes for council.
No, I understand.
I'm in agreement with Chad, it's kind of hard to justify an extra $145,000 basically, is what that comes down to. I don't know, I didn't subtract the two bids from each other, but
Like we could do that, we could do something else with it.
yeah, I mean, that's half our parking lot covered, or,
And I will agree with Chad, though, I think doing those alternates is gonna be a big key, with our,
just as big a factor as the roof,
yeah, that's,
stopping the leaking.
It would cut what we have out of pocket more than in half. I mean,
I think nobody wants to take that first step.
I know.
It's hard for me to think that, the super lock's obviously better, but it's hard to think that it's $150,000 better when we think the problem is a twofold problem. Obviously, the roof needs fixed, but fixing,
That's over halfway to replacing that roof again.
yeah. And in 15, 20 years, 25 years, whatever the case, if the roof is bad again, is that another dimension?
Depending on why the roof's bad, I mean, yeah.
And then I know that's a whole nother conversation.
Is there maintenance that we can do or that we can have done on a regular basis, Chad, as far as the other?
Not that not that I'm aware of.
I don't think it would be a maintenance thing, it would be an issue of going up there and just resealing every single screw. But even that wouldn't,
Replacing the screws would be better than
Yeah.
sealing. But then you got people walking on the roof, when, you
Which
got
then
more
in
wear and
turn-
tear.
Yeah.
right, right.
I know I don't have a vote, but I think saving the money.
I would make a motion to accept Tier 1's bid for the exposed fastener roof and 2A, 3A, and 4A.
Second.
Any other discussion? Call the vote.
Just 1 second. All right, Fisher,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
I guess that's all. If there's no new business, we're adjourned.